Currently there's speculation surrounding if Richard Allen knew who the Kleins were from his past and if he was associated or friends or acquainted with them over the internet through an alias or catfish profile. Information from the Keegan-Klein transcripts showed Keegan had admitted to using different applications on the devices law enforcement acquired from him. There's still currently question marks if he used the Yellow Yuba application after law enforcement earlier on in 2022 asked for any information if anyone communicated with Anthony Schatz via the Yuba application formerly known as Yellow. There's also some question marks in regards to what applications Tony Klein used if he was indeed the second user of the Anthony Schatz profiles as alluded to by the detective who interviewed Keegan. I think it's reasonable to believe Tony was the second user if they thought the verbiage and syntax he used was similar to another person who they assumed was also using the applications under the Anthony Schatz or Emily Ann 45 username. The police confirmed only 2 users could have possibly used the Anthony Schatz profiles and Emily Ann 45 profile because the Comcast IP address was linked to the Klein's home. It's currently unknown if Richard Allen used an alias or catfish profile to speak to Libby and/or Abby via a phone application or social media website. He seemed to have prior knowledge of the girls' families and was a Delphi local. Keegan-Klein was sharing child sex abuse material images through a Dropbox according to the officer interview transcript from August 19, 2020. A username spelled incorrectly as Hannah Rostall, which was actually Hannah Rostal, was communicating with Emily Ann 45 and sending sexual messages to a person assumed to be a child. Hannah Rostal is a catfish profile which is connected to an Indian male, a German and possibly a person in Illinois who has Facebook friends in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It is assumed Keegan shared a Dropbox with this username and other child predators. I think it's possible that Richard Matthew Allen had spoken to Liberty and/or Abigail on a catfish profile or even used family members' social media profiles to observe where the girls were going to be that day. I think to gauge and decipher if Allen found them via a Dropbox or was connected to Keegan, you'd have to go through a debunking process with each username Keegan's aliases and catfish usernames spoke to and who Liberty and/or Abigail communicated with. I do believe the catfish theory strays away from basic logic in regards to Allen communicating with Keegan given Allen being local and having knowledge of the area. I think it's still possible the Wabash River search, if connected to Keegan and Delphi, was connected to the search of Allen's property. I'm skeptical, but it's still entirely possible.